Hello to all our followers and welcome to this new episode of 5 Minutes. Today we talk about academics, the epidemic of loneliness, with our guest, Dr. Olivier Sibai, lecturer of marketing at Birkbeck University of London. Olivier, very welcome to 5 Minutes. It's such a pleasure to have you here with us. Olivier, with today's interview, we open a small window on a particular aspect of the working life of academics, the loneliness. So, are we academics lonely people?
I would not say that all academics are lonely people. Loneliness, it's an individual feeling. Some academics feel lonely, while others feel well integrated. So I don't think it's fair to say that all academics are lonely. But academics' job can be socially isolating. And by that I mean that academics' job requires them to collaborate with colleagues within and outside their organizations. And their situations in their jobs makes it really hard for them to engage with those colleagues. And this fosters feelings of loneliness among many academics in a way that you do not find in all professions. In particular, junior academics like PhD students, postdocs and lecturers or assistant professors, they tend to find themselves in those isolating circumstances.
So what are the types of isolation an academic may face?
Well, there are two main types of isolation academics can face. Academics can be isolated within their universities where they work. Academics have to collaborate with colleagues for teaching and management duties, and their position in the organization can make it really hard for them to connect with colleagues. So PhD students and academics who do not have a permanent position and teach in several places are particularly subject to this type of isolation. But there is another type of isolation as well, whereby academics are isolated from their research community. They can be isolated because they are geographically distanced from research centers relevant to them, or they can lack the familiarity or friendships that would allow them to engage with the relevant researchers. They can feel like they are not given an opportunity to learn the skills necessary to publish research and be recognized as worthy researchers in their community. Or they might even just feel like they don't understand the community's norms and culture that define how to collaborate with or learn from one another. So it's something interesting that academics' isolation in their research community is a very widespread problem, but one that hasn't been looked at very much today.
So another question, is this loneliness a problem for academics' well-being and quality of life then?
Yes, definitely. Loneliness is definitely a problem for academics' well-being and quality of life. There was a Guardian, very interesting survey from the Guardian in 2014 on work in academia. And the survey shows really clearly that 40% of academics and more than half of academics below the age of 35 view isolation at work as the main factor affecting their mental health. And many academics turn to counseling to learn ways to cope with the associated emotional distress. There's a trend that I find particularly poignant, is the tendency of many young, isolated academics who disengage from interactions with colleagues, both in their organization and research community, as a strategy to cope with management's demand for enhanced productivity. And this has, of course, significant impact on their mental health. So I think it's very sad because universities were created to be places where people can learn and educate together.
Well, last question, what do you think then universities could do better to fight this academic isolation?
Well, isolation is a feature of academic life that is difficult to eradicate, but what universities can do is help academics respond to isolation in constructive ways. I think that what nearly all universities lack today is initiatives helping academics overcome isolation in their research community. I think universities should organize formal trainings to help academics address the problem effectively, because today academics are left to their own devices. These trainings would allow academics to diagnose their isolation. They could also involve sharing best practices, such as how to create online academic groups, online training clubs, how to create large research teams, allowing each member to learn from one another and connect. They would also involve potentially ongoing mentoring. This is, I think, important for mental health reasons primarily, but this would also make universities academics more productive. And so that's another motivation for universities to embrace such trainings and schemes. But that being said, I think it's important to make it clear that it's not an issue that just universities should tackle. They shouldn't tackle it alone. I think it's also the responsibility of research communities, the leaders and the governors of those communities, to also make sure that they are inclusive.
Thank you so much, Olivier, for this very interesting interview. We wish you all the best, and we really hope to see you here again at 5 Minutes.
Thank you for having me.